Okay, that's cool.
It's going to be a good 30, 40-minute one, but well, it depends on when we start.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
5, 4, 3.
Run
it again.
Oh, shit. It's rough.
The audio went off.
Go.
Welcome back to another episode of Frankly Speaking Sports. I'm Jack. This is
MT.
We back, man. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a hectic couple weeks.
Hectic.
Had a death in the family, so had to take care of that.
Sorry to hear that.
You know, we back. Anyway, we about to get into a lot. We got to recap this Game 7 of the NBA Finals. OKC Thunder ended up pulling it out. Halliburton got hurt in the first half. Hot take, man. I say the Pacers win that game if Halliburton don't get hurt. Like, in my heart, I believe.
But he came out scoring 9.
He had 9 when he went out, and the game was tied 16-16.
They couldn't stop him, though.
Like, and the interesting thing, he had a 30-point game in all of the series, and this was the one series he hadn't really got off. And I think this was the game he was about to get off. So it's really unfortunate. Even though the Pacers ain't my main squad or normal squad, it was still nice to see the run that they went on this year. Historic. It was almost bubble-esque.
Yeah.
Like niggas was hooping in the bubble. Like Indiana Pacers was hooping. The Indianimals, y'all was hooping. Well, I know y'all still don't let me call y'all that, but it's all good. Y'all was hooping this year.
I look at it like, I think I've been saying this for the last 6 months now. Just read the narrative.
Yeah. And when it happened, even though the game was still close throughout, and really they had a chance, but when you give up that many turnovers, you know, and the thing is, the margin could have been wider because they weren't capitalizing off all the turnovers.
Should have been wider.
You know what I mean? Like they weren't scoring off of the turnovers. Had they been scoring consistently off of the turnovers, it would have been a blowout. But, you know, they stayed and it stayed competitive.
Well, it goes back to what I've been saying all along, that this modern basketball is a fiasco. Because
thanks, Adam Silver.
When I watch all these people jacking up threes, and it
thanks, Adam Silver.
Pull my hair out just about. When I see you come down on a fast break opportunity and you stop and jack up a three, and then you miss. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Man, they play the game like it's 2K now.
2K, and I'm looking at this like, I was like, is Friend Zone somewhere? Can I watch Big Bang Theory somewhere?
I'm not going to lie. That's kind of how I felt once I seen Halliburton go down. Like, I'm like, damn.
Channel surfing.
Yeah, I cut the game off for a second. And I don't even remember what I cut on. I think I cut on Netflix and was watching like Narcos or something, and an episode went off, and it's like, man, you know what? Just tap back in. Like I think I checked the score on Google, and I'm like, oh, they ain't running away with it yet. So I tapped back in, started back watching it, and I just knew when it happened, OKC was gonna win it. I almost felt like it was a David Stern moment, like he'd have made that call, like, all right. You know, y'all done played good now, but it's time to go and sit down.
Do y'all see them maybe coming back?
Nah, Halliburton going to be out all next year.
Yeah,
his whole next season.
Did you see when it happened, though? You could see his socks flex.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's not a calf.
They put it in slow motion. Just forced us to watch it.
The whole game. They showed it like 30 times.
At least.
Yeah. I mean, because shit, it's catastrophic. You know what I mean? Like, that's their best player. You know, you could see they were trying to still maintain the pace, but Tyrese Halliburton is what makes the flow kind of go together. Like, he makes the offense flow. So the movement and the passing was still there. They still had, you know, backdoor cuts on the pick and rolls and stuff like that, but it just didn't look the same. You know what I mean? Like, he's the engine that makes that whole offense run.
Well, his leadership skills were underscored.
Yeah.
Because you don't think of him as a leader until he ain't there anymore. And then you see that everybody's kind of, because a lot of those turnovers were because people were pausing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, when I was watching TJ, what's his name?
McConnell.
He kept doing the first thing that I was taught in basketball not to do. getting cornered, and then letting the baseline and the timeline.
But you could tell OKC had an emphasis on taking him out of the game.
Exactly, and I'm like,
they made it an emphasis on that.
So I was like, why don't you, when you see them about to crowd you, pass the ball? And he's still dribbling. I'm like, dude, you in your 30s, you ain't in your prime no more if you ever were. And you kind of ain't that guy, and you still insist on dribbling through a triple team. And then when you finally decide to pass, you make the dumbest decision. I'm like, okay, Rick, get a TO. Get these guys recollected and emphasize smart basketball, because you're playing dumb basketball here. Because when I watched him throw the ball like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, dude, who are you throwing the ball to?
So, are you agreeing with the narrative that's surrounding OKC right now, potentially being a dynasty, or this being potentially one of the greatest teams in basketball?
One and done. Because the NBA is a league of adjustments, and everything that they're doing is easily combated.
Well, the reason that I can easily say, I won't say easily, but why my personal opinion, I think there will be a one and done, is because of the parity in the league right now. There isn't really an emphasis surrounding dynasties.
No dominance at all.
And the last few teams to win a chip, everybody has had dynasty potential. Like, 2 years ago, Denver won. No one could see Denver losing last year. Boston won last year. Then no one could see Boston losing this year. Unfortunately, it was injuries and, different circumstances surround both teams. But it's a long season. You know what I mean? So you kind of just got to see how it plays out to a certain extent.
I don't think they're bums. Like, they'll just fall off the planet.
No, I'm not saying that.
They'll probably remain a top 5 team.
Hey, I'm not saying that by
they're going to be an elite team in the West.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
They're not a dynasty,
as far as we're running it back for the next 3 years.
Nah.
Yeah, but and see, that's why I misspoke when I said I can easily say I don't see it happening, because we've had a different champion every season since 2019.
That's never happened.
That's never happened.
I mean, in the
At
past,
least someone has repeated throughout,
If
history.
not repeated, win, lose, win again.
Right.
And nobody is showing that they can do that anymore. Because when Golden State, to me, when they got rid of Kevin Durant, that was the nail in their coffin. I said, okay, you won one more, you ain't winning no more. Your system, everybody knows it now, and you guys are getting old. And I've been seeing this since I've been watching basketball in like 77, that when you rely on a heavy payload on a few people, you get old quick. And then the league figures out your system, and if you don't adapt and adjust, the dynasty falls apart. Because when the Pistons won in 04, that should have been a dynasty. When the Lakers had Kobe and Shaq, that should have had a long run.
That was piss poor management.
That's what that was.
That was piss poor management. Everybody started getting traded.
Yep.
And it just, I don't
mean,
know.
I can go back to when the Sixers won with Doc and Moses. They kept that tandem together for one season. Like, nobody in the league could figure them out, because you got to pick your poison. And they were adding Barkley the next year. So you get rid of Moses Malone, and you don't win anymore. And I'm like, why would you get rid of the league's leading rebounder, the most dominant in post scorer in the league? Basically, he was manhandling Kareem the way they handle Wemby right now. So I'm like, and then you get the management saying, I'm the boss, I make the decisions, and you don't run this team, it's not your team, and you trade them over some egotistical stuff.
I mean, that typically happens quite a bit.
That was insane. I'm like, at least allow them the opportunity to defend their crown. Weren't even given that. And so that was a dynasty that fell way too fast. The Pistons just got old with Rashid and all those guys. They just got old. When they lost Mehmet Okur, that was the future, because he was a.
No, the future was supposed to be somebody that got drafted in place of Darko Milicic.
Yeah,
okay.
Carmelo. That was the one bad decision that they overcame for a minute, but then when they saw Darko was not going to be the guy he was, He showed flashes in practice.
That was a dumbass decision.
Practice?
That
I started having an Allen Iverson moment. We're talking about practice.
was a dumbass decision.
Practice?
We just gonna call.
Oh,
a
they
spade
dominated
a
the
spade.
European. This ain't the European. This is the NBA.
So, to play devil's advocate, I think they were just forward thinking with, like, because you see how the international game is today. Like, most of the players that are damn near all the players that are dominating the game today are all international players, even if the nigga's just from Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a different country. So,
So they were ahead of their time.
could have been.
Could have, yeah, because
Right idea, poor
Wrong-
execution.
not just that, wrong person. Because I looked
That's-
at that.
that's what I'm saying, poor execution.
Because I looked at that dude and I was like, when I saw him in a warm up, I was like, he looks all gangly and like he ain't even supposed to be on the NBA. I didn't see coordination and I didn't see athleticism. And I was like, okay, 7 feet to 7 feet. You can't coach height. But he ain't no NBA player. And then they traded him to Minnesota. I'm like, again, not an NBA player. So I'm like, what? And looking back at that and thinking Carmelo Anthony and Rasheed Wallace and Chauncey Billups and Tayshaun Prince and Rip, that would have been scary.
That would have been a team, man. Now you talking. Now you cooking with something. I mean, it was still a well-assembled team for what they were able to do. But, you know, when you talk about dynasties, you're talking about multiple championships.
Yeah,
Like,
they could have at least won 3, though.
I agree. I
'Cause-
don't see a reason why they
I mean, they lost one to the Spurs because of
wouldn't have.
one lapse of decision making, and then Robert Horry drains a 3-pointer.
Yep.
That series is done. But I mean, they could have easily won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
But that decision,
Well, sticking with basketball, because this will probably be the last time we talk about it for a while, at least NBA basketball. You got some other champions, real quick, just a brief caveat. The Florida Panthers repeated in the NHL, win the Stanley Cup Finals.
that was impressive.
LSU, Connor McDavid, I feel bad, bro. I feel bad.
He got no help.
He's the only person in NHL history to have like 6 or 7 consecutive 90-point seasons and not have a Stanley Cup.
He got no help.
Like,
But he was heralded. When he came into the league, he was heralded.
I mean, the guy's a beast.
He's living up to it, but somehow they haven't figured out how to put parts around
Like,
him.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I really do like watching hockey because them motherfuckers is athletic. Like, we don't really think about it too much, but what they're able to do with the puck and like on skates, and then still having to have the strength to skate around and do this shit.
And I've played hockey.
Fucks
And
with
hockey is not an easy sport to play.
At all. It takes a tremendous amount of
Skill set.
skill, strength, coordination. It takes a lot. And you gotta have hands.
You gotta have hands.
You gotta have hands too. Motherfucker beat your ass out there.
You gotta be able to throw hands.
You're gonna be on ESPN.
But when
Bloody
they
nose and hug.
when they put that emphasis on
Missing
my
teeth, my boy.
when they put that emphasis on my guy passing Wayne Gretzky, I was like, yeah, but
That was also amazing too, because they showed a picture of when he first came in the league, and to see the transition and see them now I thought that was pretty cool. LSU wins the College World Series baseball. That shit was pretty cool. LSU is fucking title town, man. LSU just be balling, bro.
No matter what sport.
Like they do a lot,
They
bro.
probably just won the soccer championship.
We playing.
Probably a
SEC
championship
soccer
we ain't even thinking about. Lacrosse champion 7 years in a row type shit.
Wow.
They on a Oklahoma Arkansas type run. Not Arkansas. Alabama. Wrong A.
Man.
wow. You know what? To see Alabama's dynasty crushed the way it is, the way it just crumbled. I mean, it's like you wouldn't think a coach would be that much.
I mean, in college, it really is the coach.
It's really the coach.
You know what I mean?
When I
'Cause
watch,
they do the recruiting. They are who set the culture, and
Yeah.
you come into their system and their program. And
so where do you see Big Blue being next year? They got the #1 recruit in the country. Coming back to that court.
first and foremost, who the fuck is Big Blue?
Michigan. Come on now. Ooh, I feel like so slighted right now.
The big blue bums. That's where I see Michigan being next year.
And yet they beat Ohio State this
The
year.
big blue bums. Why is that the barometer of success?
Because they were the national titleist, and yet Michigan beat
And
them.
that's fine. And we over here celebrating our natty without cheating to get it,
Oh, come on.
without
now.
stealing all the calls to get it. I'm just
Come
saying,
on, nah.
whatever.
By the time they had won that natty, the cheating was exposed already, so they couldn't do it anymore. So I'm just saying, it's almost like Deflategate. Okay, we discovered the deflated footballs. He still won a ring, so I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'm a Tom Brady fan, but fuck them Wolverines. Anyway,
Question.
what up though?
Did you guys hear what LeBron said about ring culture?
Yes,
What's y'all opinion on that?
he couldn't have said it even any better.
I agree. Because to a certain extent, it's kind of the reason that the GOAT debate has been so tainted right now.
So skewed.
Like, that's why I just keep it open for a debate. As long as you could put somebody in the conversation or in the debate. Like, there are people that don't, it's kids today, and I think about shit like that, generational things. It's kids today that 15, 20 years from now could be talking about Wemby like, he's the GOAT. Don't know what he's going to do. It's Gen Z or whatever the fuck generation we're in right now, kids that have watched Steph Curry and are going to be calling Steph Curry the GOAT. You know what I mean? So as long as you could put them in the conversation, it's respectable. But I'm going to be honest. If you look at it, Bill Russell won 11 rings. No one else has come close.
Come close.
You have that the teams in like the 60s, like those Celtics teams, some of those guys won 8.
8, yeah. Not even mentioned.
Havlicek
Not even mentioned.
won 8.
Havlicek had stats so similar to Jordan's.
Yeah, I have that comparison. I got that screenshot in my phone. It's
So
it's buried
similar
somewhere in the archives, but it's definitely in
to
my phone.
Jordan.
But
See, I have seen Havlicek play, not live, but I've seen him play, and I understood what a good player he was. And it's like, he ain't even mentioned in that kind of discussion.
right.
Because he was accompanied by so many other great
Yeah,
players.
I was gonna say when your entire roster is made up of fucking Hall of
Hall of
Famers.
Famers. It's hard to make a
like,
claim.
Yeah, like it was kind of like a pick your poison situation. You know what I mean?
It wasn't
But
kind of like, that's exactly the way it was.
Jordan won 6. Tim Duncan, Kobe won 5.
How many Robert Horry won again?
Robert Horry.
Robert
I
Horry
think he got
got
6.
6.
Yeah,
He got a whole
yeah.
bunch too.
But he got them with different teams.
Yeah.
But he also
He was an integral part in some of them, though.
he was not the main guy.
Never the,
Come
no,
on.
I
He
ain't
was-
saying the
but
main.
that's the whole thing. We're talking about guys who were the main guy,
Featured guy.
on the teams
He
that
will
won
never be in that
championships.
discussion.
You know what I mean?
Dennis Rodman got 5 as well.
I was gonna say, but that's also kind of the knock against Havlicek. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you won 8 rings, but come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we literally just
If he had
established
gotten
so many
injured,
people.
had he gotten injured, they still would have won those same old titles because they were so far ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
And people don't even realize that the Boston Celtics, in the age of plotting NBA, they won with a fast break. Most don't realize that.
I just think, to piggyback off what LeBron said with the ring culture, like he said a few months ago on McAfee, like after you won the ring, most champions get embraced. They start to get loved. With him, it was like it became all hate. You know what I mean? Well, it's like he won the ring, and it's like, oh, well, he's gonna get 6 like Jordan. It's like, well, goddamn. Well, what the fuck? Where is my love and admiration? And I don't get that. Like that doesn't qualify for me. So
The way that I characterize LeBron James' imagery and the perception of him is that he was never a transcendent figure. He was never a guy who you could revile. Because all champions, when they get to a certain level, you just hate them. LeBron didn't do any controversial things in his whole career. He was a good guy. He gave back to the community. He was just a model citizen, and that's not what America likes. They like that one because, I mean, Mike had a lot of gambling and so on and so on. But they's like, yeah, but he won. So, that's the American culture. So if you don't have that kind of controversial narrative behind your name, they view you as a nice guy. And in America, let's face it, nice guys finish last.
And to add on to that, I think as well, I think it's funny when people say shit like that because it's like, bro, I'm singing a Michael Jackson song and niggas is like, oh, that's that one LeBron James. I'm talking about the man on a Laker. There's love for you as well. And so for me, it's like if you just notice that hate and just notice the Skip Baylesses and the Steven, that's what you're going to hear. And that's what it's going to feel like. But then at the same time, it's like, come on, man.
So the reason that I point it out is because we're just now getting the Shannon Sharps and the Nick Wrights and the people who are LeBron defenders and the people I'm not talking about just random people you find on social media to make. I'm talking about actual sports media respected journalists.
But a lot of time they just be like, yo, nigga, you're crazy for that take. Like people, even the people they're like, yo, come on now, like that's LeBron James.
But it's still, you have the platform. We got Skip Baylesses in the early 2000s.
With no one pushing back on him.
With no
pushback.
He started on a show called Cold Pizza. That's how far back this nigga. This was like 2007.
And because he had that controversial slant, in my opinion, Stephen A. Smith was born.
Type shit.
They like, you know what? This stuff sells.
But the fucked up thing, literally, because that's when they came up with that format and that formula, and Skip Bayless brought along Stephen A. He was like, I don't want to do it with nobody else. It's the same thing that he did with Shannon Sharp. Like, I want to work with him. You know what I mean? So you can piggyback and launch off, but the whole thing is in 2007, Skip Bayless went on camera and said there is nothing LeBron can do that will ever be better than Jordan. You can't walk that back. We're 4 years into this man's career. He said that shit after he lost the fucking finals to the Spurs. That he carried that bullshit ass team. And it's like...
And that was a dynasty, by the way. That Spurs team was a dynasty.
I'm saying, again, we talk about teams full of Hall of Famers.
That was a very long dynasty, too.
No bullshit. They're a team that resembles like the Patriots for me. Because they were dominant at different periods. I remember the period in time where the Spurs were literally in the finals every other year for like a decade.
And the thing about that was, if you remember George Gervin, he never got that far, but they were always in a hunt. They just never had that one piece to put them over the top. And then they started sliding into obscurity, and then along comes David Robinson, and they're back elevated. And then when TD came, he put them over the top.
Yeah.
But when I look at like sports dynasties, because I mean the team that I always have to come back to, and I hate it, is the Yankees. The freaking Yankees that are winning they've been winning since like the 1919s and the 1920s, and I'm like,
I mean, but they've also been fortunate enough to have teams like the Boston Red Sox do dumb shit like trade them Babe Ruth, Wade Boggs,
What y'all be saying about the league? The league's better when New York Yankees is winning. That's what they come on.
I mean, there are certain markets where sports are better when those teams are good, and when you got going to the current Yankees, when you got owners that spend money like the Steinbrenners, it's like okay. But briefly, because I got to get out of here in a couple minutes, niggas got to work. The Lakers got sold to the same group that owns the Dodgers, and you see how them motherfuckers spend money. Lakers championships coming in a couple years, baby. I'm calling it now. You hearing it here, 2025, baby.
Magic is
it's gonna take a year or two. It's gonna take a year or two.
You playing, but you know what? Back in whenever, they were saying, "Oh my gosh, man, we gotta wait for Oklahoma. The Oklahoma City starters is in 6th grade right now." And look where.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Just 3 years ago, they were like a 24-win team.
Come on now.
So when the Rangers won the World Series a couple years ago, they were like a 100-loss team the season prior to. So I mean, you can flip it fast if you invest the money in the right areas and you scout the right prospects.
What's puzzling about that is the Dallas Cowboys. I've always liked Jerry Jones. He sees the model and he thinks, I'm going to do it my way.
That's literally what happened.
Your way ain't working. I'm Jerry Jones. Yeah, but your way ain't working.
You don't have Jimmy Johnson no more.
You don't have Jimmy Johnson. And I look at that dude.
You don't have Tom Landry no more. Like, those guys aren't walking through the door, and the blueprint that, you were winning left when they exited.
It exited. Everybody can see that but him for some reason. He still thinks I'm the reason why they won. No, you're not.
Yeah, they ain't going to win shit till he die. I'm predicting it now. Hot take it. Call it what you want. Hot mic
second prediction of the show.
they ain't going to win shit till he die. Like, I don't think they get back to an NFC championship. They ain't going to get close till he die.
Now
Then they gonna fuck around, and the year after he die, they gonna fuck around and win a Super Bowl.
Be something sick like that. Watch, and now with that division, that division getting harder by the day.
It's getting harder by the day.
Yeah,
that division ain't sweet no more.
It's definitely interesting. Next week we gotta get into some divisional talk. Kind of get a little breakdown or whatever. But real quick before we get out of here, I want to talk about the Kevin Durant trade and get your thoughts on that.
I saw somebody say, "Who cares? Who cares anymore?"
When I look at Kevin Durant's age and his
I feel him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Propensity for getting injured, I'm like, what were you thinking?
So, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on both sides, just because I guess that's how my brain works. Mm-hmm. On one side, I was like, bro, who gives a fuck? Like, yay. And then on the other side of it, I'm like, okay, I can see how it works, because the way Houston is constructed, the one thing that they defensively matched really well with Golden State in the playoffs. The one thing they couldn't get was a consistent fucking bucket. So you gotta, they already have kind of like, they're young and okay, so this is going on the other end of the spectrum, but KD don't really want to be a leader.
He doesn't.
He doesn't want to be a leader, but they have a strong culture set by the coach. So what KD lacks, which is defense at this point in his career,
Armand, he's gone.
Eman Thompson, like they have solid defenders that could, kind of cover for him, and what they needed, he can consistently give them.
Bonafide score.
The guy that he's replacing only scored 12, 13 points per game. He scored 25. So it's like, you think that additional 12 points would have helped at some point in time when you need, like, you know what I'm saying? So I can see how it will be beneficial for him. I can see how it'll work out. But
there are enough pieces around him.
What the fuck is Phoenix about to do? They got a squad full of two guards.
They got to be about they got to be about the small ball you to depth is all I can think of. But like Booker and
It's
Bill,
it's only one ball.
They're not that fast to really play
It's only
small
one ball. See, Devin Booker can play point guard, but it's only one fucking basketball. Who you gonna ask to set a screen? What 6'3", 195-pound guard are you gonna ask to come set a screen?
I just think that they tanked this team to possibly get a draft pick in the next couple of years. That's all I can think of.
They don't have their own pick till like 2031.
But they can easily slide down so far to get a lottery pick, though. That's all I can think about their strategy because.
Did you not hear what I just said? They don't control their own pick until 2031. So even if you slide to the worst possible team and get the number one pick, it's going to be someone else's. You're going to help somebody else vicariously
Get the number one pick.
on accident, So they have no benefit in tanking right now.
Oh, they said Dylan Brooks.
Oh, yeah, Dylan Brooks got traded.
They got rid of the villain. No. Oh.
I forgot he was a part of that trade. I mean, because they gave up Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, a pick swap, and like 5 second-round picks. So unless you're going to find 5 Nikola Jokic's in the second round, I don't know how much you really had to give up to go get him.
Nothing. Now that I'm looking, nothing. A second, nothing. Jalen Green, like, come on now.
He was inconsistent.
He was inconsistent.
He's talented, but he's raw.
And he a 2-guard too.
He's also a 2-guard.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah. And he can't shoot.
I mean,
So now that's the one benefit that I guess you have a 2-guard that does something different. But
I mean, maybe they're thinking about the Bad Boys Pistons with Joe Dumars, Isaiah, and Benny Johnson on the floor at one time.
they still had Bill Laimbeer. They still had Rick Mahorn. They still had big motherfuckers that'll knock your ass down if you come down on that block.
Dennis Rodman and
You
John
still
Sally
need
with-
some. You still need some. You know,
they expecting
a Steven
Bol.
Adams.
They expecting Bobo to be they starter.
You don't have much of a choice. It's not like you got a bunch of 7-footers just out there.
It's between
You know, in NBA shape.
and,
Called Dwight Howard. He over in China doing his thing.
and also Iguodaro.
Oh shit.
He's 7 foot. But he went to Marquette. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, this is also real quick before we get out of here. This is another reason why ring culture is kind of overemphasized. The white boy that just won the ring with OKC that has never played a minute in the NBA is an NBA champion. He got more rings than Chris Paul, nigga. That's all I'm saying.
Is he retired yet?
No, I think he's still playing.
He might run it back.
Nah, it's a possibility he might retire this year, but
I mean, I hope it's a distinct possibility because
he still win, man. He
I
still.
say he be getting buckets.
but he can't guard anybody anymore.
I mean, shit. Everybody can't be LeBron, bro. Everybody can't age like LeBron, man.
He's been trying. I'm like, Chris, dude, are you chasing the?
He should have started taking care of his body like 15 years ago. If he was
Something.
going, yeah, bro. Everybody can't age like LeBron.
No, when you see Chris Paul when he was playing for New Orleans, and
He was quick.
And looking at him now, I mean, to say he's a shadow of himself is an overstatement.
I mean, he reminds you of the chick that you wanted to date in high school to double back on you when she's 60 pounds heavier after she done had 3 kids. Like, I always liked you.
Been abused by Scott Foster and everything. Like, leave me alone, shawty. Damn, I ain't trying to.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, I've been hearing some grumblings about people talking about maybe it's time for LeBron to retire also.
Man, on that note, we finna get the fuck out of here. I ain't finna do that shit. Look, man, it's been real. I'm Jack. This is MT. We be back next week. Bear down, man.
Deuces.